Right now, I'm excited to announce up onto the stage someone who is really deserving of the Sue Kunitomi Embrey Legacy Award. This award is also known as the Baka Guts Award for the crazy brave with selfless courage in the face of adversity like Sue, Bruce's mom, had. This individual, I think, is someone really important because as young people in the community, it's really critical that we have elders to look up to who have really done the work. And in order to be effective in the work, you know, with the political framework, you also have to be really strong in your relationship building. And Nishio is someone, when I started working in the community, who just invited me out for lunch and wanted to just chat. And while maybe he was the one to do most of the chatting the whole time, there was also just so much to learn from him. And I really value those moments of just getting to talk story with him about his experiences. So I hope that he captures that a little bit today in the words he'll share with us. Some other important notes is that Nishio was born in Manzanar on August 9th, 1945. That's the same day of the atomic bomb that dropped on Nagasaki. He also hasn't come back to Manzanar in a decade. So let's please give Alan a really warm welcome for joining us here today and for this award.
Lunch with me again. So. But it is an honor to receive this award because knowing Sue Kunitomi Embrey and her legacy is a very important one. But as Tracy said, it's also known popularly as the Baka Guts Award. And I really receive it in that spirit, especially today, because we need more than remembrance and legacy. We need Baka guts to be able to withstand what's going on today. You know, Bruce mentioned the commission findings about what happened to us in World War II. He talked about the lack of political leadership, wartime hysteria, racism, but there's one other thing that is also very important. What happened in the camps also was because those people who knew better, who believed in civil rights and civil liberties, chose to remain silent. And when Japanese Americans were put in camp, who stood up to oppose that? There was only one national group that stood up to oppose that, the American Friends Society, the Quakers. Where was the American Civil Liberties Union? They chose to sit on the sidelines. Where were and many others? Those people who knew better chose to remain silent. As a community, we fought very hard for redress in the 1980s, and we won that. But it would be a travesty if we won that, an apology and compensation, and said thank you and went home. When we accepted that apology and that compensation, we accepted the responsibility to continue to ensure this does not happen again. That's right. I say that because this is a time that requires Baka guts. You know, this is something that if we look at things now, we have to understand the times we are in, and I won't go into those in detail. But Reverend Martin Luther King had a quote. He said, "Our lives begin to end when we stand silent about things that matter." And this is a time when things matter, and we cannot allow ourselves to remain silent. I could go on, but I'm not going to. You're lucky. I'm not going to keep you bored like Tracy was. But I need to say, we need to understand we're here to remember, but we need to move from remembrance to resistance. We need to understand we need to move for action today because we are at a critical time in the history of our nation. And we're going to see 10 years from now what happened this time as a critical turning point where either we reaffirmed democracy and civil liberties and the rights of all, or we turned our back to that and turned to fascism and demagoguery. And 10 years from now, when you talk to your children or grandchildren or whatever, and they ask, where were you in 2017 when all of this began to happen? Are you going to be able to say, I was there fighting to ensure that this happened? Or are you going to have your life shortened because you chose to remain silent on things that matter? Thank you.